there. This is Carrie. Welcome back to your mat. I had a request for some hip strengthening and opening, which, if you practice yoga quite a bit, there is a lot of hip in everything we do, from lunges to warriors to all of that. So, try to mix it up a bit. It might be a little bit challenging till we get to the cool down portion. So just hang with me, do what you can, grab blocks or something if you need it, and let's get going. Let's get started. Um, let's get started on our backs. So you'll notice as we go through class, I'll try to integrate some of the same hip movements, but in different planes. So when I say different planes, meaning on our backs, maybe in plank, maybe in standing, and so on. So just to see how your proprioception, your strength, your movement is in those different planes, and from what is like the floor, what is supporting you. So it can just be like an interesting little feedback for you. There's no right or wrong about it. It's just what do you maybe like more than the other? What is easier? What is harder? Usually what is harder we need to work more on. If it's painful, then don't do it. But you know that. Modify as you need. And let's do this. Start on your back. Legs can be bent or not, your choice. Arms can be at your sides, over your head, on your belly. And just take your moment here to release, to slow down your breath, to maybe think about your breath for the first time today. Usually we breathe without thinking about it. But breath is one of those systems within our body that can be both autonomous but also like manual. So autonomous meaning it just happens on its own, or you can do it by forcing your body to do it. So start to inhale very slow through your nose. Feel your body fill up with air in every nook and cranny. Take a pause at the top and then open mouth, release. Maybe feel all the tension you've been holding on to melt off just a bit, and then pull in all that air again. Pause at the top, and then open your mouth and let it go. Maybe wiggle your jaw around with your mouth open. Wiggle your head around a bit, just kind of releasing tension that we hold way up in our shoulders, on our upper backs, in our jaws. Maybe start to move your legs a little side to side like windshield wipers. Taking big inhale as you do so, and let it go. Starting to find your ujjayi breath in through your nose and out through your nose, sealing your lips, finding a little tautness of your belly as you exhale, like somebody's giving you a little punch in the gut, or that feeling of when you cough a bit, like, and actually do that right now. Like, I'm closing my eyes because the sun is in it. But if you do this little cough, this feel what happens through your belly area here, maybe even your side rib cage, and how you're bracing yourself. And that's the feeling I want you to bring, especially as you exhale, as we move. And then bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little rock side to side. Feel your spine start to wake up a bit here. And then lay your head back down. Lay your left foot on the floor, and let's bring your left leg out straight and your right knee 90 degrees bent. And then really focus on keeping your low back. It'll have a little bit of a lift, but your low back more glued to the floor. So as we start to move your right leg, your left hip isn't rocking side to side. You really want it nice and stable. So with your right leg nice and lifted, start to open out to the side. And again, notice if your left hip starts to lift or your left low back starts to hip, and then start to bring your right leg forward and then back up. So you're making hip circles out and around. As you come forward, your leg lengthens out and then pull in. As you pull in, pull that belly nice and taut. Right leg goes out to the side, out and around, and down. So just big hip circles here, nice and controlled. Really glue your left heel down. Notice how you have to anchor the rest of your body to only move through your right hip. Because it's really easy to just start swinging your body around. It's harder to focus on the movement of just one joint. Let's go the opposite way. This might be a little bit harder. It is for me, especially as I come up. I really have to anchor through my belly and then up and around. If your leg is getting tired, you're not the only one. Mine too. Good. Clasp your hands behind your right hamstring. Let your right leg come up to the ceiling. Soften your shoulder blades behind you. Maybe make some circles with your ankle. And just breathe here. Maybe bend your knee up and down. Work on that knee joint here. Motion is lotion, so movement is lubrication of our joints. It's forcing hydration into our joints that don't typically absorb on their own. Muscles absorb, but that soft tissue does not. The soft tissue meaning our tendons and everything, fascia. And then let your right leg go long. Bring your left knee so it's 90 degrees, shin parallel. And then focus on anchoring and really kind of becoming this tree trunk of a body from your right heel all the way up to your shoulders. And let your left leg come out to the side. Start to kick forward with control. And then with almost like you're fighting the pulling in of your leg. You're pulling it in, but it's like you're fighting it. So you really feel your muscles start to light up. And then breathe as you do so. Notice if your body is rocking side to side. How do you have to engage yourself to minimize that movement as much as possible and focus movement strictly in your left hip crease. That whole left hip out and around. This is great for mobility, building strength and stability. Especially as you get tired, what starts to happen, my right toes start to flare out all weird. I'm not seeing them, but I can definitely feel them because I'm pressing my right heel into the floor, the rest of my body, and let's go the other way. Kick straight out, come out and around to the side and back up. This is actually really great core work for your transverse abs, your really low, deep inner abs that help with graceful movement. Grace is definitely not my middle name, but we try. Good. Straighten your left leg, clasp your hands behind your left shin. Make some movements with your ankles. Nice breathing in, inhale, and extended exhale. And then start to work that knee joint. We did our hip joint, we did our ankle joint. Now let's work on our knee joint. And then hands behind both hamstrings as you rock and roll a few times here. Have fun with it. Maybe kick your legs way back. It's a nice stretch for my upper back when I do this, way back here. When you're ready, come up and over into your tabletop position. Wrists under shoulders, knees underneath hips. Have a slight turn out of your hands so your pointer fingers face straight forward and then the little space between the rest of your hands, and start to find some cat and cows here. Now we're warming up our spinal joints, which is a row of a bunch of joints. So this is cow. Drag your hands back towards your knees, widen through your collarbone, and then round into cat. Press into your knees and hands like you're trying to press yourself off the floor. Inhale for cow, and exhale for cat. Add in any other movements here that you may not even realize you want. You just start doing it. Hip circles, neck circles. I like to focus on shoulders a bit here. So these are like scapular push-ups through just my shoulder joint. Trying to make some circles through my shoulder joint. Shoulders are so finicky, and we do so much pushing in yoga. And I know so many people who get shoulder issues. So the more you can move them, the more strength you have in the muscles surrounding all around your shoulders, the better off you are. Good. From here in your tabletop, lift your right leg. I'm going to change so you can see here. Lift your right leg up. So your leg's at 90 degrees, foot pressing into the ceiling, and then turn out to the side. Now it's like you're peeing on a fire hydrant. Bring your knee down, around, and press back up. So we did this on our back. Now we're doing this in a tabletop. The key here is, with control, you're taking those big circles, but notice what happens in your left hip. Do you start to kind of lean to the left? And can you fight that? Can you punch that left standing hip in and up? Press through the hands in and up versus leaning to the left. And then go the other way. What you're doing with your leg. It's easy to just kind of do this and not realize what you're doing. Building proprioception, meaning how does your body move in space? Doing what you think it's doing. A lot of times it's not. Set your foot down. Open up your knees wide, big toes towards each other. Find a child's pose. Big inhale in and exhale out. Tailbone towards your heels. Reach fingertips forward. Feel that nice lengthening through both sides of your body. And then walk both hands over to the right. So even your left hand may come off the mat. Glue down your left hand, and with it glued down, now try to drag it back to your right knee by pulling back your right hip in space. So we're stretching and lengthening through the left side body. Maybe take your right hand and walk it back by your right knee, elbow up, press into your right hand, maybe a little twist looking over your right shoulder. At the same time, you're getting lengthened through the left side by pulling back through your left hip. This is a little two-for stretch with a twist to the right, and lengthening through the left side. Walk your hands back through center and walk both hands off to the left, even your right hand off the mat. Inhale in, and then exhale, glue down your right hand. Try to pull it off, even though it can't. But maybe walk your left hand back by your left knee, elbow lifts up towards the ceiling, press into your left hand, find a little twist looking over your left shoulder. At the same time, glue down your right hand and pull your right hip back towards your right heel. Come on up to your tabletop. And let's go ahead and do our left side here. Hands underneath shoulders. Inhale, lift your left foot up to the ceiling. Knee and shin 90 degrees. And then notice if you're tipping to the right. I was just tipping to the right, so I have to hug that right hip in. You have to engage and hug it in, and then start to make big circles. Keeping, as you lift to the side, you're parallel with the floor, and then out or in and down and around. Out, all the way to the side, down and around. As you come around, notice what your right hip is doing. Hug it in. Press hard through your hands so you don't keep leaning to the right too much. Good. You gotta squeeze that tush as you kick up. Squeeze the hamstring as you kick up. And then squeeze the out. You're lifting through the outside of your hip as you bring your leg out to the left, peeing on that fire hydrant. And then let's go the opposite way. It's harder to do it this way versus when we're on our backs, because when we're on our backs, we have a lot more support where we can focus strictly on just the movement of your hip. We don't have that here. Good. Stop. Let's come into a child's pose again. Knees nice and wide, toes towards each other. And we're going to do something a little different here. First, find some comfort in this child's pose. Big inhale in and exhale out. Keep your knees nice and wide. As you inhale, come forward in through a tabletop. And as you exhale, lift your feet up and find a cobra here. Scrape the shoulder blades down your back so your shoulders aren't up here shrugging. So you really got to press into your hands. Squeeze the hamstring and butt to keep your feet up. And then as you exhale, roll up and back over to child's pose. And inhale, come forward. Cobra pose. Nice long neck through all around your neck. And then exhale, rock back to child's pose. Okay. Inhale, come forward. And exhale back. One last time. Inhale forward. And exhale back. Inhale up into a tabletop. Sit onto your heels and let's give your wrists a little break here. Taking your left hand glued to your side, reach your right arm forward and around without turning. You're just reaching your right hand up and around and making a big windmill. When you get to the top, turn your hand out and back and then come around. Just working through our shoulder joint here, nice and controlled. Trying not to move any other part of our body, just the shoulder. Notice how when you have to turn your hand around, otherwise you get stuck here, you have to flip your hand and come back around. Let's go the other way. Good. You even have to kind of work through the muscles that surround your rib cage to help you from turning. And one last time. And let's go the other way. So glue that right arm next to you. Left arm reaches across, up and around. Once you get to the top, flip your hand the opposite way. So palm is facing the opposite way. Come back and around. Good. My shoulders aren't the best, so this is not easy for me. And if you're just like winging it around, then you're not actually being mindful about it and really feeling what's happening in your body. Okay, let's go the opposite way. And come back around. Onto your hands and knees. Tuck your toes. Find your down dog. Pedal out your feet. Shake out your head. Oh, do what you need to do here to find, this kind of comfort of the down dog that we always come to throughout yoga. But this is your first one, so maybe the backs of your legs are feeling a little tight. Maybe your hands are already wrists are getting a little sore from being on them. Bring some mindfulness through how your hands are connecting to the ground, pressing down and away, lengthening through both sides of your body to send your hip creases up and back. Down dog is not about your legs at all. Down dog is an inversion. Your head is below your heart. So this is an inversion. Hands, spine, the top half of your body from your hips up are more important than your legs. Good. As you exhale, bend your knees and come into this kind of bear pose. So you're in down dog, arms and spine, but your knees are bent. Look between your thumbs. So we'll come back here a lot and then exhale back to down dog. Inhale, bear pose, like you're crouching to do this kind of leap forward like a leopard, and then exhale back to down dog. Inhale, crouch into this bear pose. Exhale, down dog. We're going to add on here. Inhale, bear pose. As you exhale, with control, step your right foot towards your pinky. So I'm going really slow. I want you to go slow. Bring your right knee out to the side, like you're going to touch your knee to your tricep, and then step next to your pinky. You're in this high lizard pose. Hold here, taking your hands to the floor or blocks or books, and rock forwards and backwards over the bottom of your left toes. Feel an opening and lengthening through the front of your left thighs, which is part of your hips. So technically, this is a hip opener on the left front thigh, but also your right outer hip. Let your left hand glue to the floor and start to peel open your right arm for a twist. Squeeze your left tush to help lift just a bit. So if you're getting here nice and digging in and your hips are getting heavy, pull in. So now you have to engage your hips, engage your legs, reaching up. And as you exhale, hands come down, step back to down dog. Let's do the other side. Inhale, bear pose. Look between your thumbs. As you exhale, your left knee is going to lift. It's like that hip circle coming out to the side. Shift forward, step softly next to your left pinky. Look forward, lengthen out through your spine, and rock forwards and backwards over your right ball of your toes. Pull that belly in. Focus on lengthening through the front of your right thigh. Then ground your right hand down. Start to twist to the left, reaching your left arm up. And then notice if your hips get heavy here, start to engage, squeezing an orange between your thighs to lift. There we go. This is strengthening through our hips, but it's also opening up and flexibility, working on flexibility as well. Good. One more inhale. As you exhale, bring your left hand to the floor. Look forward, get light on that right ball mount. You're going to step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. High yogi squat, toes out, heels in. Nice long spine. And then exhale, forward fold. Good. Sway a little side to side. Ooh. Finding your breath. And then heel toe your feet in so they're hip width apart. And roll all the way to a standing. Fix your shirt if you need to, like I do. Whew. Inhale, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, let's give ourselves a little back bend. Just a counter stretch. Ooh, it feels nice. Inhale, arms up. Now listen here. Take your hands behind your head and press your elbows back like you're against a flat wall and you're trying to press your forearms and elbows into that wall, the back of your neck into that wall. Notice I'm not like this. I'm kind of tucking under to lengthen my low back. That little engagement of your belly. Good. We're going to work on a hip hinge here with a squat. So a lot of times when people hip hinge, they tend to do it in their spine like this, but we don't want to do anything with our spine. Hip hinge is this. Hinging from the hips. Boop and boop. So as you come forward, bend your knees a little, just so you don't tax the back of your knees too much. And we're just hip hinging forward. Keep pressing your head into your hands, the elbows like the walls coming with you, and then flattening out your back. Good. And then inhale back up. Squeeze your butt as you get there. Exhale, hinge forward, slight bend in your knees. Pull the outside of your hips and thighs apart from each other and glue down the big toe ball mount of both feet. And then exhale, squeeze your butt if you come up. Good. This is, if we had weights in our hands, these are called good mornings. But these are very functional movement. Notice what's going on with your back, and if you're rounding it like this, maybe you don't even notice it. Maybe if you look in a mirror or you start to record yourself, you'll see. Good, let's come down to this hip hinge here. From here, bend your knees, squat. It's okay if your heels lift. And then come back up. And then hip hinge back up. Squeeze the butt. Exhale down. Inhale, squat. Your chest is going to lift a bit, but you're still pressing your elbows back. Exhale, straighten your legs. Inhale up. I know it's tricky. Exhale down. Inhale, squat. You come up just a bit. Exhale back down, straightening out the legs. And then inhale up, squeeze your butt. Exhale down. Inhale, squat. Toes out, heels in. Exhale down. Inhale up. Good. Reach your arms up. And exhale, regular forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step to your plank position. You can be on your knees. Inhale here. And exhale, float to your belly. Inhale for your cobra or up dog. And exhale back to down dog. Good. Reset here. Focus. And let's go back to those bear and lizard lunges. So inhale, bend your knees, crouching. As you exhale, float with control that right knee out to the side. Step lightly next to your right pinky toe. Right away, open up your right arm, twist. And then exhale, go back to down dog. Right hand down. With control, step back to down dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Bear pose. As you exhale, left knee lifts. Comes out to the side like you're going through honey. Step next to your left pinky. Right hand down. Twist and rotate to the left. Inhale. Exhale, left hand down with control. Lift that left foot off. Go back to down dog. Good. Let's do it again. Inhale, bend your knees. Crouching bear. Exhale, move through honey. Take your right hand to your right pinky. Inhale, open up. Listen here. As you exhale, bring your left knee to the floor. Good. Reaching on up for your low lunge, Anjaneyasana. And then let's stay here for a moment. Come up so your legs are at 90 degrees on both sides. And then as you exhale, squeeze your hips in, squeeze the back of your left tush and hamstring, and start to come forward. And then inhale, come up. You can bring your elbows in. And as you exhale, lunge forward and lift your arms. Inhale in, squeeze everything into the midline. And then exhale, keep squeezing and control as you come forward. Inhale in. Take your left foot, switch it to the right, flip it around. You can heel toe your right heel in to the midline and come forward into this side angle variation with your left knee on the floor. So coming forward here, reach your left arm pressing in, right arm pressing into your right thigh. Hug that right hip in really hard, like you have a girdle on and it's sucking you in. Do they call them girdles anymore? Maybe I should call them spades. I'm old. As you inhale, come up, reach your left hand to the floor or your side, and it's like a reverse. Good. Exhale, stand. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. This is like that hip hinge. Inhale, chair pose. This is like that hip hinge. Exhale, stand. This is just slightly different variation. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold, hip hinge forward. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, stand. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, step your left foot back, hands down. Inhale, right leg up, three-legged dog. As you exhale, open and stack your hips. So right knee goes up to the ceiling. We're going to flip here. So hand, weight goes onto your left hand. Take your right foot behind and around, and then flip both feet to the back. Good. So both feet are flat to the floor. You're on your left hand. Inhale, reach up, hips up. And as you exhale, dip your hips to the floor. Bring your right elbow in. As you inhale, reach up. Squeeze your tush. And then exhale, dip your hips on down. And then inhale, press in, squeeze your tush, squeeze your hamstring, press through your feet. And exhale down. One last time, inhale up. As you exhale, look at the mat where you're going to place your right hand, then twist to place your right hand, and let your feet follow back to down dog. Either stay here, or you can come through your vinyasa. Inhale forward, and exhale, chaturanga. Inhale for your back bend, and exhale back to down dog. Good. Let's try that on the other side if I can remember. All right, we start with that crouching bear. Crouching tiger, hidden dragon. That's what I keep wanting to say. Inhale, bending your knees, look forward. As you exhale, move like honey. Left knee lifts nice and high. Step forward as slow and controlled. Right hand down, inhale, left arm up. Ooh. Exhale, both hands down. Bring your right knee to the floor. Come on up to your high lunge. Move your left foot back if you need to find 90 degrees in both legs. Squeeze everything into the midline. Out, down, and around. And then exhale, come forward, still squeezing, especially your right butt cheek and hamstring. Inhale up, squeeze like you have an orange right in between. And then exhale, keep squeezing as you come forward. Inhale up. Here we go. If you want to use your fist of fire, inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. This is more about your legs and hips that I want you to focus on than arms, but it might be kind of fun to put in a little bit of arm choreography. Works the shoulders as well. Good. Inhale, come up. As you exhale, swing your right foot to the left 90 degrees. Heel toe your left foot into the center. Arms out, and then exhale, side angle, pressing your left knee out and hugging your butt cheeks into the midline. Good. Inhale, come up. Reverse, either hand at your waist, maybe right hand to the floor. And then exhale, side angle variation. Come up. Notice if your left knee collapses in towards the right. And exhale down. Inhale up. I'm squeezing my butt the whole time. You can't tell, but I'm working. And exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale. Cartwheel your hands on either side of your foot. Tuck your right toes. Lift your left knee. Or right knee, sorry. Look forward and step forward, forward fold. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Stand and rise all the way up, and then exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Let's work on some movements from standing. I'll move this way. Good, just like on our back, just like on tabletop. Lifting your right knee up, hug that left hip in. Notice if you want to come out, hug it in. Out to the side, you gotta lift using that strength. down and around, out, down and around. Notice if you're swinging the rest of your body around. See if you can keep it nice and solid and focus the movement just in this hip area. You got to use all the muscles, even all these nice core muscles that surround your spine. Go the opposite way. And notice also how this is very similar to a lot of yoga poses, right? We go to tree from here. We can go to Paschimottanasana. I can't say it. That's okay. We go from kicking forward to backwards, all from here. Good. Let's go to the other side. Glue down that right foot. Find one spot that you can gaze at that doesn't move. Hug that right hip in. Lift your left knee. Plug the big toe ball of your right toe down. And then start to make those movements up, out, down, and around. Good. Hug that right hip in. And can you move without swinging any other part of your body? I'm placing my hands on my hips to kind of test if my hips are kind of going all the way around. Go the other way. Yeah, breathing as we do this. Hug that right hip in. That's what wants to go on me first. As I get tired, bring your left foot down. Start to swing out your hips. There we go. Big inhale in. Stick out that tongue. Let it go. If anyone's watching, because you know what? They're just sitting there watching and you're doing something. What you guys can't see is my cat friend is right off the side, dead asleep, not giving any fucks about what I'm doing right now. But good for her. All right, come to the top of your mat if you're not there. Inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Let's step to your plank here. Hold your plank. Let's try what we just did. Standing, bugs, in a plank pose. I'll turn this way. So from plank, get your butt nice and flat. You're going to lift your right leg up behind you. I'm like Pigpen right now with all the bugs around me. Okay. Let's try this again. From plank, lift your right leg, bend 90 degrees. Out to the side. Whew, this is the hardest one yet. Out, in, around, and up. Whew. Move with control. Maybe go 3 times one way, and then 3 times the other way. Other way comes in, out. Holy moly, this is a lot harder, huh? Whew. When you're done, come on down. Find a child's pose. Yeah, big inhale in. And let it go. The best thing about yoga is we only have 2 sides. The bad thing about yoga is we still have another side. Let's come into our tabletop and then find your plank. Nice and strong. Pull those hands back towards your hips. Inhale, kick your leg up, out to the side, forward, down and around. Squeeze that butt. Squeeze all that butt out to the side too, but it's more the outside. Woo. 3 times one way, 3 times the opposite way. I'm trying not to rush it, but holy moly, I'm tired. When you're done, knee down. Child's pose. Let's have our knees together this time. Forehead down. Reach your arms back towards your heels. And let your head rest. Find a nice rounding of your back. If you like rabbit pose, your hands are right here on your heels, pulling in, hugging in your elbows, coming forward on the crown of your head, and rounding. I'm not very good at this pose. I got a belly and boobs. Whew. But if you like it, go for it. And inhale, come up. And as you exhale, find a seat. However you get there is your perfect way to get there. All right. Let's come into a pinwheel sitting. So 90 degrees on both legs. Left knee into your right sole of your foot. Sometimes otherwise called deer pose. I'll turn this way a bit. Now, I don't want us to use hands here. And I want us, remember that hip hinge thing where your spine is nice and flat? Keep that in mind here. As you inhale, lift up. As you exhale, keep your hand, you can make fists too. Forward, hip hinge, forward, hinge back up. So notice I'm not coming forward rounding. Nope. As we come forward, I'm sending my tailbone back like it's glued to the floor. Hip hinge forward so my chest comes forward into your shins, both shins, to help lift and come back up. So use the floor as like your work here. So as you're coming forward, press your right knee, right shin, left shin into the floor, chest forward, and then inhale, come back up, pressing your legs into the mat. Exhale forward, and inhale back up. It's harder than it seems like it should be. Let's go 2 more. I lost count. Most of you will find that yoga teachers are terrible at counting. And most of the time, we don't count how many we did compared to the other side. So we just do it by feel, you know how it is. Take your hands down. Good. Now I want us to work on a couple more things here. So where our legs are still the same, take your right hand to the floor. Actually, we can take our right forearm to the floor. And you're trying to keep your right knee flat and lift your right foot. My right knee glued to the mat. It's hard to do, but send your left knee to the mat and try to lift your right foot off the floor and then set it down. So however you use the floor, pressing in is your choice, and then try to lift your right foot off. We're really working all the muscles around the joints of your hip, and then try it again. Yeah, I have a really hard time keeping my right knee down, but we'll try to keep your right knee down. Good. Oh, I can really start to feel this on the outside of my right hip, but this is also working the inside of your right thigh. It's just very good for us. How many times have you ever done this in your life? You know, it's good for our bodies to move differently than we always do. Slowly come up. Let's do one more thing. Yes. Left, right fingers on the floor or on a block as light as possible. Keep both sides of your body nice and light as possible lifted. So try not to shift over too much. We're going to lift our left leg off. So you really have to squeeze this hip and butt cheek here. Ready? Exhale up. You can have your hand to the floor and down. I'm leaning a little bit, but I'm trying not to lean too much. I'm trying to fight the lean as much as I can as I lift off my left leg through this whole left side and down. It's hard. It's super hard. You might not be able to lift very high. Pressing your right shin, your right knee into the floor to help. Good. Okay, let's go 3 more times. Exhale, lift. Down. Exhale, do the work. Last one. Exhale. And down. Nice. Bring your hands behind you. Swing your knees up. So it's like you're sitting on a beach here. And then swing and windshield wiper your knees side to side. I know that was super hard stuff, but it's so good for us. All right. Air it out. Do what you need to do. And then come into that pinwheel sit on the other side. So left foot, right knee into your left foot. All right. Sitting up straight. Sit on something if you need to. Arms up. You can make fists. And this is that hip hinge, right? And really use the floor. Pressing your legs energetically into the floor. Send your tailbone back as you come forward. So it's almost like you're fighting the coming forward part. Squeeze that left hip. Press legs into the floor. Inhale back up. Exhale. Hip hinge forward. Inhale back up. Exhale forward. Back up. You really got to use that muscles of your obliques, especially to come up and try to keep that strong, long spine. Heart forward, chest forward. Exhale. Come up. Exhale. Inhale, come up. Nice. All right. Now let's come on to your left forearm. Your legs stay the same. I'm just shifting so you can see me a certain way. And this is where we're trying to lift our left foot while everything else stays to the ground, including your left knee. So inhale and then exhale, engage. Press right knee and shin into the floor. Press left knee into the floor. Lift that left foot. One side is going to be far easier than the other. Start to notice maybe how the outside of your left hip is really feeling this. Good. Hold it for a moment at the top and then slowly let your foot back down. Nice. Feel what's happening in your body. Notice if your mind starts to wander. The minute it wanders, you're not having full control over your body. And it's hard to build body awareness when you're moving your body, but your mind is going elsewhere. And it happens. We're human. But notice it. Good. One last time here. Oh, Lord, that's hard. And then come on up. Now, this is, to me, the hardest one. This is the one where we try to keep our chest up high, lengthen through both sides, and we're lifting our right knee and shin and foot off. If you want your left hand on the floor or a block to help keep you propped up, you can, but try not to lean too far into it. Take an inhale and then do the work on your exhale. Squeezing and lifting. Oh, God, that right side hip. Oh, and then you might get a Charlie horse or something like I just did. All right, inhale and then exhale to lift. Keeping head up. Good. Sides nice and long and up. Exhale for the work. Release. Exhale, lift. Take a moment and pause at the top. And then inhale, release. Let's do 3 more. Exhale to lift. Inhale to release. 2 more. Exhale, lift. Last one. Exhale, lift. Put your hands back behind. Swing your legs around. Windshield wiper side to side. If you want to do a couple cat and cows seated, taking your hands on the inside. And as you inhale, send your chest forward and come forward. And as you exhale, hold on and round. Inhale forward and exhale. Inhale. Good. Let's stretch out our legs, our side bodies here. Take your legs wide. If you need to sit on something, sit on something. a pillow, a blanket, a block, a book. Your toes engage back towards your face, tipping your heart forward. Start to walk forward. This feels nice after all that. Start to sway just a bit. Go as far down as you can. So if that means right here, stay here. Start to sway side to side, right to left. Nice and controlled. And then getting bigger and bigger. And as you get bigger and bigger, walk your hands to that side. Breathe as you do so. And you don't have to go as fast as I am. You can go much slower. Noticing lengthen your breath more than you think, especially your exhale. Once you get over to your left side, bring your left, actually, let's just reach towards your left foot or the left corner and notice what happens on your right hip. Glue it down, glue down that right hip crease, and then reach your fingers towards your left. Big inhale in. Long extended exhale out. And let your left arm stay and peel open your chest so your right arm comes up and over. And then now really notice if you're lifting so much that your right hip is starting to come off, glue it down like there's a big weight or sandbag. Glue it down so as you reach over and you're gluing down your opposite hip, you feel an even bigger stretch through your right side. If you can hold on to your feet, feel free to. If you're up here, don't worry, you're still getting full benefit. I know you're getting full benefit no matter where you are. And really peel open your chest, feel that twist. Let your head get heavy. And then start to turn your chest towards the floor on the left side. Walk over to the right. And now reach your fingers forward, chest down towards the floor, and reaching towards your right heel and past your right heel. Inhales, satisfying exhales. Inhale and long exhale, your body may start to relax into this a bit more. And then walk your arm back, your right arm back. Maybe you're on your hand or your forearm, and twist, rotate through to the left, reaching your left arm up. Now you're gluing down and weighting down your left hip, reaching your left arm over, finding a nice long opening, really making space, right? Isn't that what yoga is all about, is making space in our minds, making space throughout our bodies. One of my favorites. And then slowly coming back around, maybe coming one more time forward. Hi, kitty. And then coming back up. And find your way onto your back. And when you get on your back, let's do one bridge. So walking your feet in hip width. Tuck your shoulder blades under. I like to keep my arms up like robot arms, but you can keep your hands down. When I keep my hands up, it helps me remember to engage my whole top part of my body and engage my triceps and push in. So as you inhale, engage your body, and as you exhale, do the work. Squeezing your cushion, squeezing the outside of your hips and thighs into the middle. Think about that versus squeezing your inner thighs together. Think about squeezing the outer hips and thighs in. Lengthen your belly. Zip it in. So a little tuck of your pelvis. Chest to chin. Chin to the ceiling. Press feet in nice and hard, triceps in nice and hard, and then slowly release. Good. If you want to do a second bridge, go for it. Otherwise, when you're ready, let's take a supine twist to your left. So your choice if you want your knees to fall to the left, if you want to let your left leg go long and over, or if you want to cross one leg. Everybody has differences in how they like their supine twist. There's no right or wrong. As long as you feel a nice twist through your spine, you can let gravity take over and not do any work. You're doing it right. Lengthening inhales and nice long exhales. Slowly come back around and twist to the other side. And you can do it the same or different from what you did on the other side. But again, making space and length all along your left side as you're twisting to your right. You know, we didn't do a ton of like vinyasa movement, but we definitely worked hard and did a lot. Or maybe you do feel like we did a lot. Sometimes we interpret things or feel things very differently. Come back around. If there's anything else you like to do before you find your final sweet surrender, your final resting pose, now is your time to do that. So if you like happy baby, if you like putting your legs over your head in any sort of inversion, go for it. If you're ready for your shavasana, you can definitely go into your shavasana whenever you're ready. I'm doing a happy baby. I like to do happy baby. It helps to straighten out and neutralize my spine. I can also work on flattening out my spine by pushing my tailbone towards the floor, lengthening my neck towards the floor. And when you're ready, finding your final resting pose, whether that's on your back, whether that's seated, it is your choice. However you find yourself, take a moment, do a little wiggles here and there, and make sure you find at least 10% more comfortability in however you chose to land. And then let all the tension release. All the work is done. There's nothing left to do but just be. as you are, for as long as you need and want to, you can press pause and stay here or tune out my voice. If you are ready to be guided out, start to make small movements with your physical body, with your extremities, your fingers, your toes, slowly awakening your physical body, reminding yourself so that you are more than your body. Maybe moving your head a little side to side and deepening your inhales and your exhales. When you're ready, you can bring your knees to your chest, giving yourself a little hug, maybe turning to one side, or gently, with minimal effort, pressing yourself up to a seated position. Once you get to the seated position, let your shoulders melt away from your ears, but feel your spine nice and long, holding yourself up with really no effort in having to do so. Feel that shift in energy that this physical practice has helped. Help your physical body, help your mental status, maybe your emotional being, well-being. Movement in general helps release tension. We build up tension again, and then we just come back to our mat or whatever that means to you for more movement. You bring your hands together at your heart if you'd like. Take a big inhale in. Open mouth, let it go. Namaste, friend. I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking your time to come on your mat, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you.